Hi guys, thanks for joining in. Jamie here, aka Mr. Fit Geek. Thanks very much for joining us in this video today. This is my second video in my series of talking about Spotify and Apple Music, which is my preferred streaming platform. And hopefully there's some information in these videos that helps you make a better decision as to which one you're wanting to go for. As I mentioned in the previous video, I'm specifically looking at Spotify and Apple Music, and I'm not really covering Tidal, Amazon Music, Google Play, any others at all, predominantly because Apple and Spotify are, without a shadow of a doubt, they're kind of leading this field in streaming music more than the other players. That's not to discount them completely, it's just that for me, and I think for the majority of people, these tend to be the services that most people use. So in the previous video, I talked about music discoverability and how those services work, and for me, which one is the best one to help you discover new music. In this video, what I want to do is talk about some of the functions and some of the sound quality of the two platforms, which for me, strangely enough, even though it's music, tend to be some of the things that are the hardest to find. And I know when I first started using these platforms, I was really interested to hear about the sound quality behind them and were they any good, and is there a graphic equalizer, and can you change the sound and do all this kind of stuff. And I was quite surprised at how not many people were really talking about that stuff. And I only ever really found a couple of videos or a couple of reviews that said actually what these services sounded like. So I kind of want to cover that as well. First of all, in terms of usability, how the platforms work is that Apple Music is of course available on all Apple devices, so that's your iPhone, your iPads, your Macs. But yes, they did roll out to Android devices as well. So if you are on an Android device, you can download Apple Music and you can use that as your predominant music player, which was quite an interesting move, I thought, for Apple. Bearing in mind that it's such a closed ecosystem, but they're allowing one of their key apps to be used, you know, with their rivals basically on an Android platform. So, but obviously something like a music service absolutely has to work at scale. So the more people that are using it, the better that service is going to be. So what they've realized is they can tap into millions and millions of phones, more devices around the world than if they just use the iPhones, iPads and Macs, even though there's still millions of those. That aside, essentially Apple Music is designed for Apple devices and it's designed to be used in the Apple ecosystem. So for example, with the launch of the new HomePod, Apple Music is the predominant player on that. And when you use Siri to ask for music, it's through Apple Music that it will play to you. Spotify is different. Spotify is not affiliated with a particular operating system, and Spotify is available on so many devices and so many platforms. So for example, Spotify is on my phone, is on my iPad, it's on my Mac. It's got it synced up so I can use it via my Sonos system, it's on my PlayStation, it is on my television, it's literally on so many devices and it's synced up. So for example, if I'm playing a game on my PlayStation, but I don't want to listen to the game soundtrack, I want to listen to something on Spotify, not a problem. I can, if I've got my headphones on, I can simply go to the Spotify app, choose what I want to listen to, and that will play instead of the music in the game, which is brilliant. Anyway, so if we're in the living room, for example, and on the TV, we can play Spotify. It's different with Apple Music. You can't just stream Apple Music to different devices because of how it is as a closed system. Yeah, it integrates with Sonos, which is brilliant. So using the Sonos app on my phone or the iPad, I can tap into both libraries on Apple Music and on Spotify. But generally, Spotify are like, yeah, we're here, we're going to be everywhere. Apple Music are like, no, we are a bit more exclusive to where you will find us. Even though we want everybody to use us, we're going to just rein it in a little bit. So that's some key differences there. But then it's actually what on earth does it sound like? They use two completely different codecs basically behind them. Apple use something called AAC, which is generally a really good format to listen to, and Spotify use something called Orbis. Apple lock it down. They have generally the one streaming type, And I've got to be honest, it's good. It's a good sound quality. And obviously on your phone, you are able to change your equalizer, but only to presets, so that you can choose your rock, pop, Latin, jazz, yada, yada, yada. And it's in the settings. And it's really strange why they do not put the setting for the equalizer in the music app, and it's in the settings on your phone. I never know. I find it totally weird. The only exception to this is if you're listening to Apple Music via your Mac, via your iTunes, then you can actually go to an equalizer that you can completely change yourself. So you don't have it into presets. You can adjust the equalizer bands to your liking. So why, after all these years, they've not rolled that out onto portable devices, I never know. It's really strange. Spotify, on the other hand, on your phone or your iPad or whichever device you're using, yes, they do allow you a personal equalizer. So in the settings, there are several settings that you can choose. One, you can choose the quality of what music you're streaming. So you can choose a low, basically a low, high, and an extreme. Extreme being the highest quality at 320 kbps, which is generally the best one they offer, and then to the low one. Or you can just choose automatic. And automatic will then decide which one to use depending on your signal, whether you're on Wi-Fi, whether you're on 4G, how strong your signal is, and which one they think. I have it set to extreme on streaming and on download. I don't tend to download the music from Spotify anyway. I tend to download it from Apple Music and store it on my phone. I just want the highest quality music as much as possible. I don't really, and you can tell a difference. And if you're listening to extreme and then you listen to low, there is a real difference. Some stuff is clipped, it sounds muddy, the detail is lost, so it really is quite apparent. Of course, it depends on which headphones you're using. I use the Beats X at the moment. So in terms of the equalizer, Spotify do allow you, they got all your presets, but then they do allow you to individually adjust the bands as well. And for me, because I'm a real tinkerer in terms of when I'm listening to music, I want to be able to up the treble, I want to be able to increase the bass or lower it or play with the mids. And because Apple don't do that, it's a little bit frustrating sometimes. However, if you were to listen to Apple Music compared to Spotify, you would turn off the equalizer on Spotify. Actually, if you turn off the equalizer on both of them, whether, even though Apple is a preset equalizer, it's still an equalizer nonetheless. Turn them off, put it to flat. Even if Spotify is on extreme, Apple Music does sound better. As a flat codec, it sounds better. It's cleaner, it's clearer, it's a little bit louder. There's a little bit more punch in the music. I don't know why. Spotify just seems to be a tiny bit more muted, whereas Apple just seemed to have a bit more life to it altogether. One thing I have noticed though is that Apple Music doesn't always, if you're listening to older music on Apple Music, you can kind of tell it's older music. It feels like they haven't reformulated the volume or remastered stuff to bring it up to like today's volume, because we do listen to music louder now than we ever have done. Whereas I tend to find that some of the options on Spotify allow you to normalize all the music and actually make it the normalized option on Spotify compared to Apple smooths out so much more, and so you feel like you're listening to stuff at a constant volume, which for me is really important. Like, I don't like listening to a song that's suddenly here and then suddenly really, really quiet, and the next one's really loud again. It's kind of nice if it's all at the same level, at least, if you're listening to a playlist, for example. So which one's the better one? This is tricky. In music discoverability, I was quite sure which one I preferred, but this is tricky. If I was to take one at its base level and be like, if we're in one option at all, I would choose Apple Music. I think on the whole, it's a better sound quality that is piped down. I do prefer though that with Spotify you do have the ability to adjust the equalizer, to play with it to how your ears listen to music, and also you want to listen to dance music different to how you listen to rock music. For example, you don't want to have the same equalizer settings across. So what I would love ultimately is the Apple Music, the base set of Apple Music, but with an optional proper equalizer that you can adjust over the top of it. That would be the dream. Unfortunately, it's not the place at the moment. But the most important thing for me is that as long as you're listening to stuff using decent headphones, bear in mind nowadays you can get really, really good headphones for £40, £50. You don't need to spend hundreds of pounds on headphones. Then that's what's going to make the music sound even better to you. So for me, in this one, it's actually a little bit of a draw when it comes to sound quality. When it comes to usability, then again, Spotify would win here. The fact that you can listen to Spotify on this whole plethora of devices, so you can literally, I can be in the car, for example, and be playing a song. I stop the car, get out the car, pause that song. I can come in the house and I can play from where I left off, and I can stream it straight to my Sonos speakers. So there's no interruption in what I'm listening to, which for me is really important. So anyway, I hope you learned something here in this video. It'd be great to see what you guys think. Do you love having your own equalizer? Are you not really bothered by that? Do you love the sound quality of Apple Music or Spotify? Or just what are your thoughts and feelings with this? It'd be really great to hear what you think about this. This is a new channel, so again, as I always say on my videos here, please do give it a like. And if you do want to subscribe to hear more content like this, then please do give me a subscribe as well. That would mean the world. Thanks very much, and I look forward to seeing you soon on the next video. Cheers, take care, bye.